Hello, my name is Jeff Hajek, and I am the founder of Valaction Continuous Improvement. The video you're about to watch comes from Valaction's Lean Overview DVD and is available for purchase at www.valaction.com. This DVD is part of the Lean Overview module of our Lean training system. This collection of materials takes an a la carte approach to continuous improvement education. Whether you're trying to learn more yourself or teach a team, you'll find just the components you need. Now enjoy the video, and thanks for watching.
So what I like to do, though, is back off of that now and say that's the history, but how do you make people feel more comfortable with Lean? And if you're looking at this and you're thinking about your company going Lean, or if you're in a company that's turning Lean, it's not as challenging as you might think. So first thing, if you prefer this left-hand picture, this organization of your silverware drawer, you may already be Lean. And the idea here is that people have an intuitive, natural tendency to look for ways to add order out of chaos. And I don't have to explain this picture here. Everybody can look at it and say, well, yeah, it's a lot easier to manage your setting the table chores in the evening when everything's all organized. And it's a lot easier to find a spoon or a table knife or anything like that when you have everything in these little slots. And I have yet to go to a house that does not have one of these little trays in the silverware drawer. And with that, I don't need any instructions on how to put it together or where to put things. I don't need to tell if something's in the wrong place. It's very, very easy to notice that. And I also know that I'm not on the small spoons or something like that. What this is a concept of 5S, of adding organization to make your work more effective and efficient. Now, if you use one of these, you also may be Lean. And the idea here is it goes to this concept of Jidoka, or automation. And the question I would normally ask a live team is, what happens when your machine is out of balance? And the answer is it shuts itself off. And in this case, it keeps the machine from breaking up. But in the manufacturing environment, what you want is a machine that will sense when the product is a problem and stop making defective parts. And that's really what Jidoka is all about. It's about making a machine stop when it's a problem so it doesn't continue to produce bad parts. Now, if you've ever used a recipe to cook, you're familiar with the concept of standard work. And if you think about standard work, what it is, it's a prescribed sequence of operations to a single operator and balanced to attack time. And attack time is the pace of customer demand. Now, if you think about a recipe, it's a prescribed series of steps with a very specific amount of ingredients, which is equivalent to WIP, or standard work in process in standard work. And you basically don't just build all your recipes all at once in advance. You do them when it's mealtime. And that leads to this next concept of overproduction. When you look in your backyard, you'll see something that's probably more similar to the left-hand picture than the right-hand picture of the barbecue. Most people don't have an industrial-sized barbecue trailer in their backyard. What they do is they have one that's the right size for their family or for their entertaining needs, and it keeps them from doing any overproduction. So when we're at home, we don't think of this, I have to build ahead, I have to cook ahead. You don't think like that in that mentality. You don't stock your freezer with 9 months worth of hamburgers that are cooked. What you do is you keep a little bit of meat, and when you need more, you go and get some. So with that in mind, it's really easy to think of this concept of overproduction at home, but in the office, we often, or on the shop floor, we often think we got to build ahead, or we want to have a lot of material and a lot of stuff handy and a lot of stuff in our warehouse. So we have this intuitive disconnect between what we do on our own and what we do in the company. Now, if you order checks using something like this, and this is starting to get a little outdated now with people actually being able to order them online, again, at process improvement. But this is similar to what's called a Kanban. And I've heard it pronounced Kanban also, but I always call it Kanban. But the point here, though, is that there's a signal to order something, and it's a very, very specific way of sending that information up. So it's a communication tool. In this case, the reorder form is often it's on the last checkbook. So when you have 25 checks left, you pull it off, you send it in, and by the time presumably by the time you use those 25 checks up, your new box of checks has arrived. Now, in the workplace, the numbers are more specific. So they take into account the lead time of the manufacturer that you're ordering from, and they take into account your demand. And you can predict and say that, I know it takes me a week to do this. I'll use up 30 of these in a week. So I need to place the order when there's about 40 of them, so I have a little bit of buffer. And that's what a Kanban does. And finally, if you replaced an old movie projector with a DVD player, you really have a concept of setup reduction. So in the old days, when I was growing up, we'd pull out the movies, and it'd be a big event when we wanted to watch family movies. And nowadays, every once in a while, we'll throw a DVD in and watch it for 5 minutes about something that happened. We start talking about an old event, we pull out a DVD and we'll watch it. And it takes us 2 or 3 minutes to get it all set up. You have to go in the closet and find the DVD. So the idea now is that you've taken a really, really big setup time and taken it and turned it into something very small. And it's even actually nowadays it's even smaller as you start thinking about large quantities of video stored in a hard drive. So setup reduction lets you do things in smaller quantities without having a lot of advanced planning and a lot of need to have time available. And what this does is it lets you run things in smaller quantities. So you're not doing big batches of manufacturing all at once. You're doing it in very small doses that match your needs.
The video you just watched came from the Lean Overview DVD from our Lean training system. You can purchase it at the link on the screen. You can also register for free at www.valaction.com to download several forms you can use to improve your operation. These include a policy deployment matrix, standard work forms, and a variety of Kaizen tools. Again, thanks for watching, and best wishes on your Lean journey.